Before there was the name Vybz Kartel, before Gaza and Gully, before the clashing and the controversies, before the tattoos, the beats, and the bleached skin, there was a quiet home in Portmore. It wasn't big, it wasn't fancy, but it had something many mansions don't: a mother who prayed. Theresa Wilson Palmer didn't grow up with fame in mind. She grew up with faith, grit, and the uncompromising will to protect her own. As a single mother in the tight corners of Waterford, her life was a daily calculation of rice, time, and love. Love that was stretched thin but never ran out. Love that took the shape of sacrifice. She had 4 children, but one had a voice louder than the others: Linton. That's what she called him. The world would later know him as Vybz Kartel, the boy with a billion words. Kartel was different. As a boy, he would climb onto anything that gave him height: a stool, a tree, a step, and begin to perform. Not for cameras, not for fans, just for his mother. "Mummy, listen to this one," he'd say, spitting bars far too sharp for a child his age. MissP didn't always understand the lyrics, but she knew brilliance when she heard it. "I remember one morning before school," she once said in a rare interview, "him dey in de kitchen freestyling with de spoon like a mic. Me look pon him and me say, 'Linton, one day de world aga know your name.'" She was right. The storm before the stardom. Fame is a double-edged sword, and for Kartel, it came with blood on one side and brilliance on the other. MissP watched from the sidelines as her son climbed the ranks of dancehall like a rocket bursting through clouds, fast, loud, and hard to stop. But with notoriety came danger: police raids, feuds, arrests. MissP began to live 2 lives, one as a proud mother, the other as a woman haunted by headlines. Still, she never stopped defending her son. "They don't know him like I do," she'd tell neighbors who whispered at the corner shop. "They see the artist. I see the boy who never let me carry the groceries alone." Prison and the promise. In 2011, the world shook. News broke that Vybz Kartel had been arrested for murder. His mother collapsed to her knees. It felt like someone had cut the sky open and let grief pour through the hole. She had always feared this moment, and now that it was here, she did what only a mother can do. She stood up and went to fight. She attended every court hearing, sat in every bench, prayed through every verdict. In 2014, Kartel was sentenced to life in prison. Many gave up. Her mother did not. "I know my son," she said, her voice like fire and steel. "Him innocent, and I will live to see today him walk free again." Love through the bars. Prison didn't sever their bond. It deepened it. She visited every chance she got. Each visit was a ritual. She'd bring home-cooked meals, old pictures, and gospel music on a USB drive. Not because Kartel needed food, but because he needed to remember what freedom tasted like. They would sit across the glass, one mother, one son, exchanging jokes, tears, and strength. And when the world forgot him, she reminded him who he was. "Me never make no mistake. God never make no mistake. You were born for this, and me right ya with you, Gaza strong." The gift of a queen. In April 2024, she turned heads not for her words, but for her wheels. Kartel, even from behind bars, found a way to surprise her with a BMW X1 for her birthday. A car she had never dreamed of driving, but one she more than deserved. People asked why he'd do that while still locked up. They didn't understand. To Kartel, that wasn't just a gift. It was repayment for every time she walked miles just to buy bread, for every unpaid bill she covered with faith, for every time she defended his name when the world spat on it. It was the crown for the Queen of Gaza. The Return, July 2024. The world paused. After 13 years behind bars, Kartel's conviction was overturned. A judge ruled the case was corrupted by juror misconduct. Just like that, the gates of prison opened, and the first arms he walked into weren't those of fans, friends, or even fellow artists. They were her mother's. The hug lasted 5 minutes. No words, just the kind of silence only love understands. "I knew this day would come," she whispered. "You're free now, me son. Let them see the fire in you again." The lioness and her legacy. Now, in 2025, Theresa Wilson Palmer walks the streets of Portmore with a grace that only survivors possess. She doesn't speak often to the media, but when she does, her words cut through noise like thunder through clouds. She is more than Vybz Kartel's mother. She is the woman who raised a giant in a shack with no ceiling. The woman who prayed over lyrics before they became hits. The woman who stood alone in courtrooms packed with enemies. The woman who turned pain into poetry. She is Gaza's First Lady, and her story is still being written. Behind every legend, behind every king is a kingdom. But behind every legend, there is often one unsung hero. For Kartel, that hero is his mother. MissP didn't raise a superstar for the spotlight. She raised a survivor for the storm. And whether you love or hate the man called Vybz Kartel, you cannot deny the power of the woman who made him. So next time the bass drops and Kartel's voice roars through the speakers, remember this. Before Gaza was an empire, it was a mother's home. And before the world knew the name Vybz Kartel, MissP whispered it into the dark, hoping, believing that one day the light would answer. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more great content. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next one.